Okay, the sister who's bidding, it's not Sheikh Abu Hanifa's wife, is it? No. Let me just tell you, that it doesn't have to be for tonight. You can book it at any time. Any time that suits you. It's an open thing. We have £125 so far. We were hoping to raise a bit more for the school from this one. So a few more bids, please. £125 so far. Remember, it can be booked at any time. So any time in the next year or so, inshallah. £125 going once. £125 going twice. And £125 3 times to Sheikh Abu Hanifa. Big round of applause, please. Right, this is good. I don't know how this works because it's a meal for 12. You either go down and eat with 12 people, 11 other people, or you go and eat there yourself 12 times. Or you can go 2 sitters. I like the idea of going there 12 times. Once a month. Okay, this is at Masa Afghani in Harrow. A meal for 12 at Masa Afghani in Harrow. And it is a fantastic restaurant, Basharat tells me. Okay? If somebody's little celebration is coming up, so you've got it all free there. Take a family of 12. I think the average Muslim family is probably 12. Or at least 2 families of 6. So, an opening bid there, inshallah. An opening bid of £50. Anyone for £50? Opening bid. We have 50. 75? 75. 100? 100. 150. 150. 175? 175. We're looking for 175. We're on 150 so far, inshallah. 175? Okay, 175. It's worth a lot more than that, trust me. Inshallah. We have 175. Looking for 200. Rounding it off at, we have 200. 250? 250? 250. 300? 300? Trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it for the donation to the school. 300? Yes? No? Okay, £250. Going once. £250. Going twice. Looking for 275. Anyone for 275? Only £25 more. We have 275. 300. Masa Afghani, once a month for the next year. Can you imagine? MashaAllah. 300? Yes? Okay, £275 going once. £275 going twice. We have £300 from table 14, mashallah. 325. 325? Okay, £300 going once. £300 going twice. And £300 3 times to the brother on table 14. Big round of applause, inshallah. Fantastic. Okay, moving on quickly. Okay, I probably don't exactly have to go according to order. So inshallah, I'm going to go with this very precious item. The Quran is priceless. You can't put a price on the Quran. But think of it as a beautiful donation. This is the Quran with electronic reading pen. Okay, the Quran in a leather-bound case with an electronic reading pen. I want to have an opening bid of £100. Anyone for £100? We have 100 there. 125? 125. 150. 150 at the back? 175? 175. 200? 200. 225. 225. The 200 mark seems to be problematic. Everybody gets there and stops for some reason. 225. Anyone for 225? Quran with a reading, electronic reading pen. It's in 7 different languages. MashaAllah. Let me tell you a bit more about it. We have a bit of 200 so far. It's in 7 different languages, and you point the pen on any ayah of the Quran, he will explain the tajweed rules and give some commentary on that ayah as well. Quite amazing. 7 reciters, MashaAllah. Okay, we're on 200, looking for 225. 225. 225 at the back. 250. Looking for 250. We have 250 here. 275, sister at the back there. 275. 275 from the sister. Looking for 300. 300.
To start me up this time, I don't know what we're going to have to do to encourage them. £50? £50 to something like that. Number 17. I made one friend today. Table number 17, £50, £50, £100, brothers. Rahul drive.
Assalamu alaikum. It's very good to see everyone here this evening. And one of the things that Hajjah Farah Ahmed said was that I'd been of some help in Islamic Shakhsiyah Foundation's darkest hour. But in fact, it was one of the school's brightest hours. As Muslims, we have to expect trouble from the Kafirun. It's how Allah has set up creation. And when you look at how people have been tested, no one was tested more than the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And after him, the other prophets, and after them, the awliya and the salihin and the mu'minun. So it goes, it's part of the deen. It shouldn't come as a surprise. But it makes us stronger when we come under attack. And also it's a confirmation. I remember my teacher once saying when he was attacked, he said, well, if the Kafirun and the Munafiqun are happy with us, then there's something wrong with our deen. And so this is a very good sign for the school. It shows that they have something precious. And I remember when I was traveling in the Sudan, I was very fortunate to stay with the Sheikh Babika, who's here with us tonight. And I visited the tomb of the Mahdi. They say actually that he's buried somewhere else. There's a small museum where the grave is. And amongst the things on which you can see there is a letter that he wrote to General Gordon when he invaded the Sudan. And General Gordon had tried to buy him off with bribes. He sent him, precious gifts. And the Mahdi wrote back to him, and he said, "Dear General Gordon, know that it is Allah who runs this world and not you. Every day you're going further and further away from the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Thank you very much for your gift. This is to let you know that I'm coming with my army." And he then marched right across Sudan, from the west to the east, to the central Sudan, and defeated him. And the thing that brought him to mind is that he was someone who always smiled. He smiled at his friends, but he also smiled at his enemies. And he smiled in ease and he smiled in hardship. And this smile, it wasn't just a facial smile, it was something to do with his inward state. That he was pleased with his Lord and he knew that his Lord was pleased with him. And this is something that is very important for the Muslim's education, that we have to look for this state, that we are pleased with Allah and Allah is pleased with us. And as long as we have that, then it doesn't matter what people say or what people think. What I've seen, and especially when we have attacks from the media, that usually the attacks come from very ignorant people. And they're so ignorant that they don't actually realize that what they're describing is their own reflection. When they call us terrorists, they're talking about their inward state. They're the terrorists. When they call us ignorant, they're talking about their own ignorance. And I find equally that when people of knowledge speak about Islam, again, they're speaking about their own reflection. And this is why no one had more to say about the deen than the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he knew so much. and he was such a light and a good news and a warning for all of mankind. And this is why it's so important to bring our children up in the deen. It was so encouraging to see the children from the schools giving their presentations earlier on in the evening, because already they had such a wealth of knowledge. And I remember thinking that when I was in school at that age, I didn't have any of that. I had to go through the whole educational system before I realized that I still didn't understand life, and I had to find someone who did. And of course, I only found the personal knowledge amongst the Muslims. And I remember my sheikh saying that if Allah is merciful to you, then He puts you in a corner so that you have no choice but to accept Islam. And He said if He loves you, then He puts you in another corner, and this is the corner of the zawiyah of a sheikh of knowledge, and then he teaches you. And then we can say, now I'm beginning to understand. And in fact, you never stop understanding, because life is so vast. And this was another thing that struck my heart that Hajja Farah mentioned, was that she said we don't try and make the children all the same. We just like to bring out their potential and let them be themselves. Let them be themselves, because each one of us is unique. Each one of us has a meaning. Each one of us has a destiny. And a good teacher is a teacher who inspires you to set out on this wonderful exploration, this wonderful voyage through life, and to enjoy it. And this is a big thing. At school, we can get the basics. And then when we leave school, we suddenly find ourselves out on the high road in this universe. We're floating through the universe at 200 miles a second in the middle of space. And each one of us is no more than a speck of dust early in the sunlight. And yet each one of us is so special. And a good education is what makes children realize that they are special and their company is special. As Sheikh Tijani was saying, when you look in the mirror, you always think, we're okay. None of us says, oh, how ugly. And this is the reality that each one of us has been blessed with many attributes from Allah. And it's just important to live them, to live our lives to the full, and to make our potential real. There's a very famous, well-known English poet called Gerald Manley Hopkins. And in one poem he says, what I do is me, for that I came. And this is what we each have to find out. This is something that no teacher can tell us. But we have to find out what it is that we're here for. Part of it, of course, is to praise Allah. And without praise of Allah, life is nothing. As the Rasul said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a person who has no Quran in their heart already has one foot in the grave. And you see this when people attack the Muslims. They're all people who have one foot in the grave. They usually don't have any Quran in their heart. And even if they have it in their head, they don't understand it. And the Rasul said there would be people like that who knew the Quran, but it wouldn't go lower than their throat, meaning that it wouldn't illuminate their hearts. And really, the children of the Islamic Shakhsiyah Foundation are so fortunate, they're so blessed, because from an early age, they're learning the Quran, they're learning the meaning of the Quran, they're learning to speak the language of Quran, they're learning to be at home in the deen. And this is a great, great gift. This is like what is being given to them is an easy way to the garden, inshallah. And as in the Quran that Sheikh Tijani was reciting, he recited those ayahs that said the people of the fire and the people of the garden are not the same, they're not equal. And the people who get to the garden, that is the great success. And the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, none of you will get to the garden by your actions. And the companions said, not even you, Rasul. He said, not even me. So they said, well, how do you get to the garden then? He said, it's just by the generosity of Allah, by the overflowing fadl of Allah. This is what gets you to the garden. But part of that overflowing fadl is actually having access to the deen and having a foundation, a firm foundation in the deen, from which you can then dive into the ocean of meanings and never stop learning.